In that game, Clark scored her 103-point shot this season, becoming just the 6th woman to do so and first in her rookie season. Any kind of critique of Caitlin Clark, because that gives fodder to those who believe she's being hated on and ostracized to some degree. You know basketball better than me. You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball.
Yeah, you heard that right. More than some NBA games. But here's the twist. The Favor are facing a serious dilemma, one that could reshape their entire future. Before we dive into the details, let me ask you a quick favor. If you enjoy this content, do me a solid, hit that like button. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to the channel? Over 98% of you are watching these videos without subscribing. It's free for you, but means the world to us. Did you hit it? Awesome, thank you so much. Alright, back to the Fever. The team is under pressure, thanks to the looming expansion draft. They're only allowed to protect 6 players. 6. Every decision they make here could ripple through their championship aspirations, and even those massive viewer numbers. First, there's Kelsey Mitchell the team's rock. She's been the backbone of the Fever through thick and thin. Year after year, she's delivered consistent performances, putting up numbers that have kept the team competitive. But here's the catch. Mitchell's no rookie anymore, and her contract reflects that. Is her leadership and experience enough to keep her safe? And don't forget Caitlin Clark herself, the breakout star who's lighting up the court like a fireworks show. She's the future, no doubt, but who will they surround her with? How do you build a championship roster when you can only say 6 players? This isn't just a game of stats, it's a game of strategy. The Fever's front office has to weigh loyalty, potential, and salary cap all at once. One wrong move, and they could set themselves back years. Stick around, because we're about to dive into the numbers, the players, and the scenarios that could define the Fever's future. This is a pivotal moment, not just for the team, but for the WNBA as a whole.
Any kind of critique of Caitlin Clark, because that gives fodder to those who believe she's being hated on and ostracized to some degree. But despite the attendance and viewership records, there seems to be some haterade in the league. My WNBA Player of the Week, surprise, surprise, Indiana Fever rookie sensation, Caitlin Clark.
All right, let's talk about a player who's turned heads in a big way, Lexi Hull. This young gun went from riding the bench to becoming a three-point machine, lighting it up from deep. Her shooting has been sizzling hotter than an Indiana summer, and fans can't get enough of her. Coaches are praising her, but the real question is, does that give her enough clout to secure her future with the Fever? The front office is stuck in a tough spot, torn between sticking with veteran leadership, like Tiffany Mitchell, or taking a risk on Hull's potential. It's like choosing between a reliable old sedan and a shiny sports car. Each has its perks, but both come with risks. And here's where it gets even crazier. Every decision they make has a huge impact on the salary cap. Make the wrong choice and boom, no money for free agents, no cash to land that next big star. It's like playing a high-stakes game of chess, except the pieces are real people with real careers on the line. And we haven't even touched on Caitlin Clark yet. Of course, the Fever are going to protect her. She's an absolute no-brainer. But that's going to take up a massive chunk of the salary cap, which means other players might be at risk. Protecting Clark is an obvious move, but it could set off a chain reaction that affects the rest of the roster. What does that mean for the Fever's future? It's like being in a candy store with only $1. Decisions need to be made, and some are going to hurt. Let's dive into Nalissa Smith, who's got raw talent and athleticism that's off the charts, but she's about as consistent as a weather forecast. The Fever have a real dilemma here. Do they keep her and gamble on her upside, or cut ties and risk watching her become a superstar elsewhere? It's like trying to predict the next big lottery winner. Could go either way. And here's the kicker. The Golden State Valkyries and Portland Pilots are watching the Fever closely, ready to swoop in and grab any unprotected players. It's like vultures circling a carcass, waiting for their chance. Now, let's circle back to Smith. Her potential is sky high, but can the Feather afford to roll the dice on her inconsistency? Let her go, and they risk watching her blossom into a top-tier player elsewhere, but keep her, and they're taking on some serious risk. Meanwhile, there's Caitlin Clark, who recently scored her 103rd three-pointer, making history in her rookie season. She's a game-changer, and the Feather are leading the league in both attendance and TV viewership, largely thanks to her. But don't forget about the veterans like Erica Wheeler and Tiffany Mitchell. They've been through the highs and lows with the Fever, and their experience is invaluable. But is it time to let the veterans go and build around younger talent? It's a balancing act, and the Fever have to decide. Keep the veterans with the wisdom, or roll the dice on the next generation. And here's the real kicker. The Valkyries and Pilots are eyeing the Fever roster like hawks. The Fever can't afford to make a misstep, or they might see their top players get snatched away by these hungry new teams. It's like playing poker with the whole league watching. So, what's the big question? Can the Fever keep Kelsey Mitchell, the heart and soul of the team, or is she on her way out? The clock's ticking, and the Fever have to make their moves before it's too late. As it stands, the Indiana Fever are at a crossroads. Every choice they make now could either set them up for a dynasty or lead to total disaster. Their decisions won't just affect the future of the team, they could shake up the entire WNBA. Will they go all in on youth, building around Caitlin Clark and other rising stars, or will they stick with the veterans who know the ropes? The Fever's future is hanging by a thread, and every move they make will either make or break their chance to build a championship contender. It's a wild ride ahead for the Fever, and no one knows what's coming next. One thing's for sure, if they make the right moves, they could create a super team around Caitlin Clark and change the entire WNBA landscape. Stay tuned, it's about to get real. Do me a solid, hit that like button. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to the channel? Over 98% of you are watching these videos without subscribing. It's free for you but means the world to us. Did you hit it? Awesome, thank you so much. Alright, back to the Fever. The team is under pressure, thanks to the looming expansion draft. They're only allowed to protect 6 players. 6. Every decision they make here could ripple through their championship aspirations, and even those massive viewer numbers. First, there's Kelsey Mitchell the team's rock. She's been the backbone of the Fever through thick and thin. Year after year, she's delivered consistent performances, putting up numbers that have kept the team competitive.